Aloha Manga Club, it's your boy Aloha signing in on this beautiful Friday, and I am joined by the absolutely awe-inspiring, religiously nerdy, aka TheMightyE, aka, there's two AKAs here, which means that you know she's important. Ellie, how are you doing today, my homie?
I am living my best life. I'm doing great. How are you, sir?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. I woke up today
We're-
at 8 o'clock, went back to bed at 9, and got out of bed at 11:30.
We love to hear it. That's exactly what I did.
That's
Amen.
that's what we call planning your day around a nap. Actually, my
Hmm.
intentions for the day were to wake up, go to the gym at 9, um, get a workout in, and then come back home and relax for the rest of the day. Turns out my
And
wife
that's
said, take a nap, and I listened to her.
and that's exactly what you need to do because I woke up at 8:45. I was like, you know what? Let me just make sure paycheck hit. Okay, great. Went back to sleep at 11 or went back to sleep, woke up at 11 and was like, let me clean. Nah, I ordered Cinnabon and went to work.
I have Pizza Hut on its way to me right now.
En route. We love it.
It's my weekly cheat meal. I'm getting a
So,
large Hawaiian pizza
oh, so
with,
pineapple on pizza?
yeah, I'm one of those people because
Yes, we
that's
are. We
how
love it.
everyone knows that taste exists. If you don't like pineapple on pizza, you've never really actually tried eating pizza. You know
You're
why?
not trying. Your palate is so bland.
It
Like get some ginger, just spritz it like I
you
just
you need a new palate because here's the truth. As somebody who's eaten two medium pizzas at one point in time to see how much food they can fit in their stomach. True story here. Pineapple pizza adds the necessary zest, like a little spark of like freshness to when you're eating a full meat and cheese pizza to let you eat more pizzas. So if you're telling me
Mm.
that you've tried to eat as much pizza as you can in your life and you've never put pineapple on it, you're a quitter.
You have to have you're getting all of the food groups. You're getting your dairy, your vegetables, your fruit, I mean, your breads, all at
I mean,
once. All at once.
let's be clear. Miss Obama, Mrs. Obama. Actually, it's weird to say Mrs. Obama because it sounds right to say Miss Obama.
Is it Miss Obama? Because isn't she married? She's
No,
married, so it's
she's married to she's married, so it should
Miss.
be Mrs. Obama, but it just sounds so weird. Anyway, she made pizza a vegetable. I'm just putting it out there. She made pizza a vegetable, and what better way to get your vegetables and a serving of vegetables and fruit than a pineapple pizza?
Look, who cares? We're not talking about V8s on this channel. We are talking about pizzas. You can make your own, vegetable at home. It's great.
Yeah, you can. A freshly baked vegetable is the only vegetable to have.
That's the only look. Mwah, the flavor, the
So
power.
let's get on to topic instead of focusing on my hunger for the day, which is immense and insane. And let's talk about a few really cool things that we talked about before this whole thing started. I believe you want to brag on a few gifts that you got today.
Oh, yes, I do want
Oh,
to brag on a few gifts. Oh, a few gifts. So, just for context, so today, which is Friday, July 31st, it is Eid al-Adha, which is a Muslim holiday, kind of going around Abraham for the non-Arabs. So, I have some gifts that some girls were all like, let's all give each other gifts for Eid. So, I got because if you don't know, I love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. So I have this pen, you can see it, which is Giorno. I have this iron-on patch, which is my husband, Josuke, and I have 50 stickers of JoJo, and I'm just going to be casually looking at them all because each and every single one of them is different. Oh my gosh. Like, look at this.
that is an attractive JoJo sticker.
That's a great sticker. I also got like a jacket and like but the important stuff, the JoJo merch.
The
JoJo.
JoJo, it's all JoJo all the time.
It's JoJo all the time, 24/7. We
Three
only JoJo here. So much so, this
365.
poster.
Mm,
Wait, no, this poster
that
is
poster.
Caesar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Battle Tendency, and this right here, it's really small, is a little card from someone I got at Anime NYC, and they basically made their own little fandom JoJo stuff, and it's like them all in a renaissance. It's super cute.
I have to
But
say, I'm actually super impressed by the fact that you were able to use your fingers to accurately, like, you didn't even, like, to get to the small one, it wasn't even a hassle. You were, like, right there, perfectly timed. I'm trying to do this, and I know where these are behind me. I can't even figure out which hand is which. There we go.
it's just boop, and then boop.
You did it well. I'm impressed. But there's something right next to them that I think we need to discuss. And this is the first major anime discussion that we're going to have today, and possibly on the channel in the past few weeks. I noticed that you have Demon Slayer
I do.
on your walls.
I do. So for a little bit, I so this is what I've done. So this wall, this whole entire wall. See, I can't do it the other direction. This whole wall I've made because I just moved. I'm going to make it into like an anime manga wall. So I had some posters when I went to Anime NYC. I just wanted to get a bunch, and all of them were taken, obviously. So I got that postcard, Caesar, and then these two babies. um, Demon Slayer. I love Demon Slayer, okay? I'm not gonna sit here and say it's goated, but I love Demon Slayer. Goated animes for me are like animes aren't even included in, they're mostly seinen for me. But like these over here, you can't see them all. But that's free, Iwatobi Swim School Club School. So this is free. I love it. And I have more JoJo posters and like a Space Cowboy poster that's gonna go right here.
You already have it all planned out in your head, don't you?
I do. I do.
You've been like, you've laid them out on the floor and you've looked and you've gone, all right, this is the order that they're going to go in. This is what I need to hang up first, but I have to get the Demon Slayer up so Brian can point them out. And so I want to actually have a discussion about Demon Slayer right now.
Let's do it.
Let's do this. So I actually picked up Demon Slayer right after the hyped episode came out. You know exactly which one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Episode 18. Was that 17 or 18? I think it was 18.
I think it's 18.
18. So episode 18 came out, and the internet exploded about Demon Slayer. Like, the entire internet exploded about this thing, and I picked it up.
But it was... The studio really... They did such a great job on all of it, and it was just the most... Like, Demon Slayer... And even just standalone, just the art concept, even in the manga, is beautiful. In the anime, they really transformed it and they really animated it so nicely. And the studio just really, I don't even know. Like, I remember just watching it continuously, that final scene with the train scene, and then just going back and going with all the other demon art forms. And I was like, the way they did this was just so beautiful. It was actually an art form.
It was. So Sydney loves Demon Slayer. Not as much as she loves My Hero Academia, but she loves Demon Slayer. We picked it up just on that whim after episode 18. We started watching it, and I have a few, I'm not going to call them complaints, but just some things that I want to point out. I think that episode 18, that scene, let's take a first look at that scene in episode 18 where I'm terrible with names, you know that. Anyway, the brother and sister interact to get that one scene going. You know exactly that one scene where we get the entire background on the fire dance, every single thing. That moment, I think, is absolutely a top seasonal moment in anime. I'm not going to call it a goated moment in anime, but for the season of like everything that came out, that's definitely a top 5 moment. However, everything built around that, I don't feel carries quite as much weight. I feel like they were trying to tell a story way too much, and they're trying to, again, something that I have a complaint with on especially Eden Zero that I'm reading right now. They tried to shoehorn backstory into a character way too quickly to make us feel emotional about a scene. It was a beautiful scene. Well, the sound design was so amazing. Like, for those of you that don't know me as well, sound design is like my jam. Like, you tell me that there's sound, and I am there. Because a well sound design show pulls you in a little bit more. And the sound design there was great. But they tried to shoehorn this dance. If they had built more about his father in the past, I think we would have seen I would have been a little bit more emotionally connected to the scene.
Yeah, like I guess it's and also that's kind of why for me it's good to read and watch shows because you'll probably get more information reading the manga. And I'm not caught all the way up on the manga myself, but you'll probably like get more information in the manga. So for like manga readers who read and watch are like, okay, yeah. But for anime only folks, it's like, well, I want to know why the heck this is important because there might even be like one line that changes everything that's in a manga. But me personally, you can have sound. You have your sound. Art is always gonna. It's just
I mean, let's
the
be
animation's so powerful.
let's agree on this fully. I think art is obviously the most important part of an anime. But I think the thing that adds that little extra sauce to a scene is how you audibly see it. And it sounds weird to say audibly see, but if you close your eyes and walk outside, you're going to be able to pinpoint objects in your mind and create them in your mind's eye. And I think that's one of those things where sound helps with that. But overall, I think that Demon Slayer had really beautiful art, and I think it had a fun story. I think there were some parts that felt rushed to me. We went through. It felt like 3 major arcs in under 24 episodes.
Yeah, they definitely did. So it was kind of rushed, and I wish, even though it's also not kind of, from what I've understood from the manga, it's also not really mentioned more. But I wish we had more. I want to know more about what happened with Tanjiro's family when Wunjin came, because I don't know. He left, he came back, and like we have this story of Tanjiro, and as he's trying to find Muzan, and I don't know. I feel like we're learning as much as about Muzan as Tanjiro is, but then there's like these random scenes that are like, yeah, he's so big and powerful, and his con artistry is like top tier, and then we have him transforming, basically being Orochimaru, and
Yeah, he Orochimaru'd himself into a very
he Orochimaru
attractive,
and
like,
Naroku'd himself, and in the last couple episodes when he became a girl, and then basically was bodying folks because they weren't getting the job done fast enough.
oh, you guys aren't getting it done fast enough, and you ain't crazy enough. And everyone's like,
This man had a whole episode where he gathered his minions and killed them.
I hate it when like supervillains do that because you're not building loyalty. Like you know how you build a successful evil minion empire? You get loyal minions. They shouldn't be afraid of you. They should it sounds bad to say, but they should worship you as an all-powerful god.
Yes, they should, and that one did her job.
Yeah.
And that's why we have her in the train arc. That's why we have her in the train arc.
Like I said, Demon Slayer I think was absolutely fun, but my favorite anime from the past year, new episode, new season wise, I don't count One Piece because obviously it doesn't actually ever go on break. I just picked up Black Clover, which I did enjoy. And History's Strongest Disciple is technically old, so it's not new from this past year. Mob Psycho 100.
Okay.
Season 2, absolutely amazing.
So don't
Oh no.
Don't roast me. Don't roast me.
I promise I will.
I have not read or watched Mob Psycho.
I have never read it, so I'm not going to roast you for that one. But I think there's just something. It's a weird middle ground for me, anyway, between shonen and seinen. Obviously, it has very much shonen storytelling, shonen artwork, powers, but the emotional roller coaster that you get to go on through with Mob as he discovers himself as a person and discovers how to have successful, let's call them successful, healthy relationships with those around him, feels a lot more mature than what a lot of shonen are willing to deal with. And for me, as somebody who had trouble fitting in when I was younger, I was able to relate to Mob. I was able to figure out, like, oh, he's not great at this. And as an example, let's go with fitness. So spoilers ahead if you don't really care. It's not major spoilers. Mob has the choice to join two clubs. One club is the psychic supernatural club, which you think he would be a perfect fit for because he's, the most powerful psychic basically in the world. Like, you're like, okay, Mob, you're going to be going in and joining them because it makes the most sense for you thematically. Or you can join the physical fitness club, which, being honest here, if you read most shonen, the physical fitness clubs, what up, buddy? Physical fitness clubs are usually full of jerks in manga and anime because they try to portray it that way. However, it turns out that the Supernatural Detective Squad Club is full of lazy layabouts.
Supernatural Detective Squad Club?
It's something weird like that. I love making.
I was gonna say that's the best thing I've ever heard.
It is a great name. I will make that a club shirt eventually. But it turns out the only reason why they want to keep their club room, because Mob joining this club lets them keep that, is because they want a place to go after school to do nothing. They don't want to study. They don't want to go to work. They don't want to do anything. They just want to go to the club room and just be in there so they don't have to be observed by their parents and there's no pressure on them.
But they just go home.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like, I don't want to go anywhere. I just want to stay here and I don't want to go home and I don't want to study. So all they do is play video games and just eat snacks. And the physical fitness club comes in and they're, again, boisterous, over the top, but Mob's like, I'd like to join them. And it turns out that the physical fitness club is emotionally the most supportive group I have ever seen in an anime. They're like these super buff dudes. One of them has, the classic pompadour, and they're just they support Mob. They're like, yeah, absolutely, buddy, let's do this. And Mob is very physically weak, and they don't even care. They're
it's like the meme with all the really buff guys and the one skinny guy.
Yes.
Oh.
And they're sitting there, and they just emotionally support him throughout the entire series. And there's important moments where they'll stand up to try to protect him in situations where realistically they're a lot more useless than he is. And they're just they stand up for him. They try to push his boundaries and make him a better person.
Oh.
And so for me, it was such a fun moment. And there was a scene in season 2 where they're all training to run, and they're standing there, and they're encouraging Mob to run. He's terrible at it. He's the worst at fitness. I'm going to be honest here. He's the worst at fitness. And Mob, they're sitting there encouraging him to do all this stuff, and they don't make fun of him. They don't belittle him for being bad. They're like, he's trying his hardest. He wants to succeed, and he's part of our group. Let's keep supporting him, boys.
That's wholesome friendship right there.
And that's Mob Psycho is wholesome.
Oh my god.
Mob Psycho is wholesome to the nth degree. Pair that with some absolutely insane, there's some fight scenes in there that if you look them up on YouTube, you're gonna be sitting there going, those are
seen
baller.
Some of the clips.
Yeah, that's how good they are.
Intense. There are a lot of not necessarily new. There are a lot of anime that have come out that I just haven't watched that a lot of people are hyped up on. I've started watching My Hero. I think after season 2, I stopped watching it for no reason. I've never seen Black Clover, but I'm kind of watching a lot of Netflix animes, so I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to do. But
which Netflix animes are you watching right now?
Man,
oh no. Is there about to be more judgment going on? Because I'll let you judge me for something, I promise.
It's okay. It's okay. I am fully okay with it because when I think of names, I'm always okay. So I have this oldish manga called The Devil. I can't remember. It's not A Devil is a Part-Timer though. But I wanted to watch The Devil is a Part-Timer. But I was so caught up in everything happening around me, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch this one. And I saw the word devil and I clicked and played it, thinking I was gonna be watching Devil is a Part-Timer, and I ended up
Devilman Crybaby.
I watched Devilman Crybaby.
How was that emotionally? Yeah, I can. Yeah.
When I tell you I was waiting for a scene of like this kid working in a fast food restaurant and it never came. So I was like, what is happening? So I ended up tweeting like, what is Devilman Crybaby? Because it was not what I thought it was. And so I was like watching it, and like towards the end, I was like, it had like, flashbacks of like the beginning. And my mind was like, this started off such a wholesome anime, and this literally Satan walked in. You know how like you're having a good time and Satan comes and ruins the party? That's literally the epitome of what Devilman Crybaby is. But it made me think so much about life and just how kind of it just I don't even know. Like after I watched it, I was like, I'm not gonna do spoilers. After I watched it, I was kind of like, well, yeah, everyone in the show is dumb. But then I kind of took it from both people's perspective, and it kind of became more of okay, I understand them because if that's all you know, that's all you know. But when things change, you have to be accepting to that change and kind of go with it. And you also can't just be blindly like accepting of everyone at the same time. Everyone has their own baggage, and there was just like so much to unpack in that one season. If I could ask for another season, which I've seen a lot of people ask for, I don't want another season of Devilman Crybaby. Also, you can't have another season of Devilman Crybaby if you've seen it.
I mean,
But
technically, there's a theory going around. So I've never seen Devilman Crybaby, but there's a theory going around that I've heard where you could have a second season of Devilman Crybaby, but it would change the perspective.
oh my god, I want a perspective change. Give
So
it to
it
me.
goes
Okay.
it goes from uh the main character. It switches to the view of the main villain, and the thing is, they think that he slight spoilers, even though I've never actually watched the thing. So they think that the main villain potentially entered a time loop where he has to relive his own personal hell over and over and over again until he learns the lesson of truly loving and accepting people.
See, and my issue with that is it depends on who you think the villain is.
What if they're all villains?
And that's the issue because towards the end, it's like, who really did anything wrong if they all thought they were doing something right?
But then you get into a lot deeper moral quandaries that I don't know if we're able.
Exactly. That is my issue.
There's even deeper moral quandaries. Is true evil when you know you're doing something wrong, or when you think that you're doing something right and you actually are in the wrong? Because morals, let's be completely honest and transparent here. Morals are
Yes.
completely subjective.
They are
And
subjective.
they are culturally subjective. Not only
This
not
is
only
also true.
personally, they're culturally subjective. So, coming from that point of view, having a discussion on morals is more of a philosophical, ethical discussion, and you also have to take into account so many different factors as to
Yeah.
what's morally correct. Because to vegans, it's morally improper to kill an animal. But
Mm.
to somebody who goes hunting and, utilizes the entirety of the meat, let's use Native Americans as an example. It's part of their religion or it was part of their culture, their religion, their history, to hunt down the buffalo and use the entirety of its body as a source of sustenance, as the source of their life. And so what you're suddenly saying and again, using the vegan and Native American, which is a very weird thing that I've never done before. This is my first comparison on these two. So
Great.
using these two, from the point of view of a vegan saying that killing all animals is wrong, that means, morally speaking to them, the entire history and backstory of a full culture that's how they survived is wrong and immoral as well.
Mm. Especially if no one's telling you something is wrong, like because even in the middle of the anime, the main character says, he doesn't want to do something. And the other guy was like, that's not why you did this. And he was like, well, why? And it's like, we're supposed to do this. Like everything is transparent for what we're trying, like the end goal in the very beginning. And then everyone kind of drifts. And that's kind of like over time, people like, yeah, we both agree at this point, and then you grow naturally as people, and then you're like, I have this different viewpoint, I have this different viewpoint, and then you kind of separate. And honestly, it's who do you relate with the most. So at the end of Devil May Cry Baby, everyone's kind of mostly like, yeah, so and so deserved this. Why did they deserve it? What is your moral standard? And I think those are my favorite kinds of anime. Those are my favorite kinds of manga. What's really going to make you think? It can't just be like pure chaos. I love edutational anime. That's so
That's a good word, by the way. I've used that word, edutational.
Edutational. Like Dr. Stone is educational.
Or I also like the word funformational.
Funimational. Yes, it is. Funimational. Coin it before Funimation does.
Too late. They're probably already going to try to sue me for
They
something.
probably
I don't
did.
know. It's okay.
Dr. Stone Cells at Work even is kind of the same.
Cells at Work is a very intro. Like if you're wanting your kid to get into like science and potentially like medicine, Cells at Work isn't half bad. I mean, it's not fully accurate, but it gives you a general idea of how things are supposed to function.
Yeah.
And I mean, that is. And by the way, you said before we started that you were going to start pulling these out every now and then just to look at them, and you 100% are, aren't you?
I wasn't even trying to. It was just really heavy, and I was like, this can't be that heavy, and it is.
So nice. So I think that's actually a very interesting question, because you and I come from two very different backgrounds. We're living in two different parts of the United States in general. And it's awesome that we get to have discussions like this where we can either see where our, own internal morals line up and see, our points of view on anime and manga are also different because of our life experiences. And I think that's something that's so unique to, art. I'm not gonna be stupid and say, oh, it's only relegated to manga and anime because you can't do that through any other art form. No, I mean, let's be real here. We can interpret SpongeBob in a different way, and that's not an anime. We can
certainly can.
And you can interpret, let's say, The Grapes of Wrath, and that's not a manga. Like, you can interpret messages in literary mediums, in art mediums, as I will call them from now on, because they're all part of that in a different way. And I think that's what makes manga and anime so fun for me, because the way that I'm able to interpret them and the discussions that we're able to have are just so unique. Especially, I could talk about the same manga over and over and over again with 50 different people, and I would probably get 50 different responses as how they see different things. So I can't remember, have you ever read or watched One Piece?
No.
Boom. There we go. No. All right, then I'll break your heart. I have no intention or desire to watch or read JoJo's.
And that's totally fine.
Exactly.
And I don't like the notion of when people are like, well, why don't you watch it? Isn't it? It's like this. That's cool. I'm so glad that you love this. I will listen to you talk about it all day, but I can't.
There's just something.
People I know that are like, JoJo's too weird. And you know what? You're right. It is.
I'm not even gonna go on the train and say it's too weird. The things that I've read, JoJo's is probably like middle ground normal. This is probably what's gonna blow your mind the most. It's something to do with the artwork.
Just the artwork is so nice.
There's something about it that just bothers me on a different level that makes me not want to read it. Just like Attack on Titan, I dropped it because the first few arcs, the artwork is. Let's be honest.
It made me uncomfortable.
I started reading it in a very hipster way before it became cool, and the artwork was not good.
So you mean to tell me you don't think this? Look at that. Beautiful, majestic.
His arms make no sense with his chest. He has some of the biggest pec muscles I've ever seen, and his arms are too tiny.
Okay. Not me like flipping through all the
I mean, don't get me wrong. Joseph is a proportional human being. Josuke, not as much. I'm not saying it's a bad manga and anime. I'm just saying there's something about that artwork that for me
Yeah,
didn't click.
it's very because it goes from Jonathan being like this big muscle dude to like Josuke, who's the only one that's proportionally accurate,
And
and
then
then
you get
Giorno
Giorno.
having like this broad chest and skinny boy arms.
Yeah, it makes no sense. But it also talks about how the author, I can never remember the author's name, but
JoJo?
yeah.
Araki.
Okay, so I was right. Thank God. I was about to say Iraqi, but I was like, I'm gonna sound so dumb if that's wrong. So dumb. Anyway, how Iraqi's artwork has changed over the past, the entire series. Like taking a look at that, how crazy is that? That his artwork has changed and progressed. He's changed with the times because now we don't want to see our MCs being Dragon Ball Z-esque characters. Apparently, I don't know why. I love Dragon Ball Z characters. They be thick boys, all of them, every single one of them. Even Gohan at like age 12 was like jacked as hell. Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, huge. Monster.
Super Saiyan 2 Gohan was ridiculous.
Dude, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan is like my favorite character from Dragon Ball Z. Hands down.
The only character that matters in Dragon Ball Z, and I don't care if I get dragged for this, is Yamcha. Yamcha is the only true champion here.
Why? How? I have to know this reasoning.
Because he's the only one that can defeat Goku. And yes, he defeated Goku as a kid, but Kid Goku, the only thing that he was a kid. He still had all his big grown-up powers. And Yamcha was just a regular schmegular dude, first of all.
Okay,
and he still was like, okay, I'm gonna fight this man. He didn't have no powers. He just had his guns. Okay, guns out all day.
Let's back this up. Do we need to say because I know exactly which moment you're talking about. Don't try to Dragon Ball me. Everyone should know better than to try to Dragon Ball me because I have a photographic memory when it comes to Dragon Ball because it was my favorite manga growing up. So, what was the circumstance again for Yamcha defeating Kid Goku? Wasn't it a sneak attack robbery where Goku wasn't really ready for it? Yamcha used Wolfang Fist to punch him in the face, and Goku got up 30 seconds later, and Yamcha went, "That's not supposed to happen." Then Bulma walked out of the car door, and Yamcha was like, "Oh my god, it's a girl," and he ran away. I'm pretty sure that's how that happened.
And so what we're not going to sit here and do is act like Goku is not used to surprise attacks. Okay? What we're not going to do. Okay, yeah, surprise attack. Okay, yeah, it might have been dirty. But he had to use what he was using. This man got like freaking Superman-esque strength out here, just strong for no reason. Dumb and strong.
He was I'm not saying that in Dragon Ball Yamcha wasn't dummy strong, but you should know better than to try to bring in what Yamcha was doing, because he was a desert bandit robbing poor people of their money because he didn't want to. He could have been a good baseball player. Goku was also
So is Aladdin a bad guy?
I mean, let's be completely blatantly honest here. There's a difference between Aladdin's culture and Yamcha's culture. First of all.
Okay.
Are we about to have a discussion about Aladdin up in here? Because I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this.
We're not. Wait, no. I always get people are like, you're wrong. And I'm like, no, we have to support Yamcha at all times.
I'm not saying Yamcha got screwed.
He did.
Yamcha,
man, this alien came and took his girl. Like,
not just like, let's take a look at Yamcha. Yamcha became the most like screwed over character in all of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
He ain't deserve it.
Like, he started off as a desert bandit who couldn't talk to girls. He finally is able to start talking to Bulma, which is great. But then Yamcha gets absolutely decimated during like everything. Like every fight that he gets into, he gets decimated. My man's, knowing that he is going to get decimated, is willing to go fight the Saiyans and gets blown up. He gets blown up by a Cyberman. Like, not even regular killed. Like, my man gets suicide hugged to death. You know who we don't make fun of for like dying via like suicide hug of death? We don't make fun of Chaozu. And he died. He died like a punk.
So why we always gotta come from my boy?
Because he always tries to act
Yamcha
so
just didn't
cool.
have a chance. He just
He
didn't
didn't.
have a chance.
But he always tries to act so cool about everything. He's like, yeah, I'm the best. I'm like, Yamcha, you're actually, like, out of the group, like, you might be able to beat Chaozu. Is there anyone else? When was the last time that Yamcha, like, not in the anime, in the manga, was actually relevant? Was it Dragon Ball? Ah, yes. I did not know that we were going to have a Yamcha discussion today, and I
We're
came
not
guns
having a
blazing.
Yamcha discussion today.
You're right.
You know
This is
what?
called a Yamcha slaughter. This is what happened to him in the Saiyan
No.
saga.
Look, fine. We can agree to disagree, but I still stand by Yamcha. Why? Because Yamcha didn't deserve it. He don't deserve the slaughter.
No,
He,
Yamcha got slaughtered. He should have become a professional baseball player and called it good.
he should have just sat there and ate his food.
He
You're
was
right.
he was the best baseball player out of all of them. I will give Yamcha that. Is that acceptable? Can I give him that?
That is acceptable. I will accept it.
Yamcha
I
is
will
the
accept
best baseball player.
the hype for my boy Yamcha.
He's the best athlete.
He is
He might not be the best martial artist, but he's the best athlete.
he is physically fit to be an athlete.
He is. And then yeah, but he lost. He did lose to a short boy though. By the way, have you seen how they like did Vegeta dirty as well?
They look Vegeta, but Vegeta.
My boy went from 5'2" to 5'8" in the span of, like, you know, a couple years. You don't grow any taller as a Saiyan. You just stop, and they just kept making him taller. Like, he was slightly, like, midriff level to Nappa, and they kept making him taller and taller to make him look more impressive.
Because
it doesn't
they
make any
felt
sense.
so bad for him. He was out here just short and losing, taking L's.
He did take.
He came through and stole somebody's whole like. Vegeta always be wanting to fight somebody and always be losing. That's his problem. That's why I never say nothing about Vegeta.
But here's the thing. I can respect that hustle. My man knows that he's probably gonna lose, but he's still like, let's do it. He's your friend, like, when you go to a bar, like, and they get a little tipsy and they're like, you know what? I'm not gonna make that jump over there. Like, they're your friend who tries all the stupid things and they know they're like, I'm not gonna make it. But it's gonna work, I promise. And when they succeed, you just feel so much better for them. Like, they do one cool thing, and after every single time they failed, you're like, you know what? That was actually pretty cool.
It was worth it.
And you're like, oh, you know what? Your broken legs the last 6 times, worth it to see that one moment.
But look, I have these battle scars. Tell a great story.
Exactly.
Yamcha cannot tell a story.
No, Yamcha.
Yamcha can't tell a story.
Yeah, Yamcha's only story is the midget stole my girlfriend. Like, that's the only story that he can tell.
That's so sad.
Did you ever hear the Yamcha Gohan theory?
No.
I'm about to ruin everyone's life. So I heard about this. It's not true. It's not true.
Sorry, everybody.
They think that Yamcha is actually Gohan's dad. Take a look at Gohan's hair when he grows it out. Whose hair does that look like?
Okay, but you can't always grow your hair out. Maybe he was inspired by the fashion, by the culture.
Did you see the other children and, like, family that Gohan just straight up, like that Goku had? All his other children had the exact same hair as him. His great-grandchildren all had the same hair as him if they were male. Gohan is the only one who didn't.
And Gohan,
I'm blowing your mind. 100%, like, it's not true, but if it was,
that's fanning. I don't care. That's fanning right there. We're accepting that into our culture, and we're moving.
Yeah, but see,
We're
do
moving
you want to know?
on.
Do you want to know how I'm
We're
gonna?
moving on.
You want to know how I'm gonna ruin this
We're
theory?
moving on.
You go to Gohan's grandchild, Son Goku Jr. from GT. Looks exact. No, actually, that was the Dragon Ball Path to Power. Nah, yeah, was that the Path to Power? It was one of the Dragon Ball movies where Goku's great grandchild looks exactly like him, but the only great grandchild that Goku had was through Gohan. So that's how you know the Yamcha theory isn't true. I know I've given you a fan theory that you want to hold on to, and now I've ruined it at the same time.
I can't even be mad.
I tried to give Yamcha something.
Look, he's been redeemed. It's okay.
Again, he's the best athlete out of all of them.
This is true.
He also learned how to do the Kamehameha wave. Dragon Ball, he learned it from Master Roshi. So Yamcha also had superpowers.
I feel like
And Yamcha could fly.
I was so knowledgeable about Dragon Ball in my youth.
It's time
I
for a
don't
reread.
want to invest in watching it again.
Just read it. 16
What,
volumes.
read it again?
16
Yeah.
volumes.
What?
It's only 16. Dragon Ball, the OG series of Dragon Ball is only 16 volumes. Now, technically, if you're over in Japan, Dragon Ball is the entirety all the way up until the end of the Buu saga.
We're not in Japan.
I know.
So we're going to keep the 16 volume.
Because at that point, that means that Goku went Super Saiyan for the first time in volume 11 of Dragon Ball Z, which was volume 27 of Dragon Ball. That's right, I got this on lock.
Well, you know what? No, we're not doing this. I have failed, and you know what? That's perfectly fine. I will never claim to be a Dragon Ball extraordinaire. However, I will always claim to be a JoJo extraordinaire, even if I can't read any of the other chapters outside of
What's
Golden
been...
Wind.
So here's a question for you.
Yes.
What are the themes? What makes JoJo so unique? Why should somebody read JoJo's?
Why should so?
This is your elevator pitch for JoJo's.
This is my elevator pitch for JoJo. So first and foremost, I do want to say about JoJo. I only started watching JoJo last year, last June actually. So this would be like my 1 year anniversary of being a JoJo stan. The reason when I first started watching it, yeah, I thought it was weird. Yeah, I thought it was oddly placed. I had no idea what was going on with it. Fantastic. You always want to go on blind with an anime in my personal experience. But the reason one should stick with it is the story of brotherhood, the story of powerful lineage, the story of friendship, companionship, just through the generations. So you start off with Jonathan Joestar,
Who is honestly the weakest of the Joestars.
So Jonathan Joestar is the weakest of the Joestars because he does not have a stand. Stands don't come until JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stardust Crusaders. So yeah, you start with Jonathan Joestar, and you also have the origin of Dio Brando here, and this is when you start kind of like, okay, what the heck? You find out the origin of everyone, and it just kind of dissipates. And then after that, you go straight into Nazis, New York City, and Joseph Joestar. Ooh, Lord.
Wasn't Joseph technically considered one of isn't Joseph the Joestar, the JoJo that everyone thinks about?
This is the Joseph Joestar, but the way people mostly remember him by is this guy right here. The oh my god guy. Because and most of the time what I like to tell people is whenever you want to start watching JoJo is even though I don't recommend, ever starting something from the middle, I always tell people if you really want to watch JoJo and you want to get into it, to start at what? Sorry, to start at Stardust Crusaders. I picked up a. You see that the I don't know what his body's doing there, but the Stardust Crusaders. But that's the great part of it because there's these weird poses like this. Like it doesn't really make sense. It really do make you look like this. See, look at the memes from JoJo. Most of like almost every time I watch JoJo, I understand the meme. And it's also culturally relevant, even down to the character names. Like you're really going through a journey of Araki Senpai's just pop culture brain during the times, like the outro songs from the character names, like Iggy and Stardust Crusaders is actually named after Iggy Pop. And there's like a theory that Muhammad Abdul is based off of Paula Abdul. So it's like all of these great pop culture references of like each various time that you can see that you can pick up. But if one would start, because anything after Stardust Crusaders just basically stands. I just tell people to start at Stardust Crusaders because you get the backstory, the origin of Dio, and then you kind of trickle down because Joseph is here. Old man Joe.
Old Man
And you
Joe.
just kind of trickle down.
I
Old
guess,
man Joe.
I guess here's my question. What about the actual JoJo, the actual Jotaro?
Jotaro Kujo is the main character of Stardust Crusaders. So you learn everything about him in Stardust Crusaders.
I
And
mean,
Jotaro goes on from Stardust Crusaders all the way into. Is it still Ball Run? I don't think it's still Ball Run. What's after?
he goes to part 6. I'm cheating by
Yeah,
looking up
it's
the
part
Wikipedia.
6. I know it's part 6 because part 6 is when Jolene comes in. Still Ball Run, I want to say, is after Jolene. But yes. And because I am so pro reading manga legally, I refuse to read it from all these other places. So everyone's always like, yeah, look at this panel. I can't look at it. I have to avert my eyes because it's not legal.
You
So I'll be
know,
in my feelings about it.
do you know who would be so proud of you for being that?
Zach.
Zach from Uchu Shelf.
Yes, Uchu Sam. Zach from YouTube Shelf, or as the closed caption self. But yeah, I once I kind of was like that, I was like, I'm not gonna do it anymore. So I was like, stopped cold turkey. And it's been sad, but I mean, what can you do? I can't read Japanese. So
I mean, you could try to learn Japanese.
I need to learn how to read Japanese exclusively so I can read JoJo.
I need to learn how to read English because I'm still terrible at reading English.
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm gonna need for you to get started on that first,
And
Yeah.
see, I'm over here. I'm over here illegally reviewing Hajime no Ippo. I know, I'm such a bad person. Everyone knows this. Everyone already knows my stance. Literally, I'm the one person who's like been like as transparent as anybody else. Have you never heard this whole conversation?
No.
Yeah, I 100% like I don't even bother hiding it. Like people have tried to get mad at me
But
for
you
it.
know what? That's fine. I can't judge you and your I can only say contribute as necessary. As long as you're buying the manga the right way. The hard copies at least.
See, and here's the other question that I always ask, and people don't. And this is always the fun one. I buy all my manga used.
Yes. How else are you supposed to? Yes.
But how is that contributing to the author anymore?
You're right. And that's the kind of issue I have too, because people are always like, well, you have to you know, buying it and knowing when to buy it and knowing where to buy it. And so my issue has always been, well, hey, yeah, you can always get it from like actual bookstores or you can get it from Amazon or Right Stuff. And I actually posted about it in my blog. Like there's two different things. There's the one talking about the article, which Zach made, the where can I read manga.com. And then I also talked about other places you can read manga, like using your library. I personally love thrift books because I got a whole stack of manga for like $10. And I was like,
You're like,
yes. And,
yes,
write
please.
stuff. And then I also use Crunchyroll manga. So there's a lot of different ways, but I also contribute to a lot of different ways. But I mean,
So
I
here's
guess
an
it's all what
interesting
you put back
question.
into it.
Here's my interesting question. Like the question that I want to start posing to people who are very anti pirating manga. But that's part of the thing. I don't tell people where to find pirated manga. That's if you're going to be doing something illegal, you best figure out how to do it yourself because I'm not contributing to you being an unlawful citizen.
Right.
I'm my own unlawful citizen. But and this is also why I'll never be sponsored by like Right Stuff or anything like anybody official because I'm blatantly honest with this kind of stuff. It's horrible for my image. But
So,
do you use ad blockers?
do I use ad
Yeah,
blockers?
on your computer.
Yes, but I only do it to one person.
Oh, okay. So that's fine. We won't go into that person because it's whatever. But here's my thing. People who use ad blockers are also stealing content from creators.
What
YouTube creators. Because you know how people make money on YouTube?
Yeah, they make their money. I can name drop because we don't know these people personally. I only ad block Markiplier.
Interesting. He seems
Everyone
like
else I turned it off.
Everyone
This man has plenty of people paying for him.
But that's my thing is people who, because I also use ad blockers because one, I find intrusive ads annoying and I find them a drain on life, and I do 100%. Like I said, and here's the other thing: if you use ad blocks on my videos, if I'm ever at the point where I have 4,000 watch hours, please do. Please use an ad blocker on my video. I don't expect this is if I'm going to make money off of this, which is the eventual goal. That's why I made a channel, right? I want to make YouTube a career. First of all, YouTube is a very intrusive system that pushes ads specified towards you. To me, that's an invasion of privacy that I did not agree to. But they say, "Oh, you got on the internet, you agreed to it." Excuse me, I did not. I don't remember.
I did not agree to it.
So, please, I beg you, if you watch my channel and I have ads, that's actually part of the reason why I might not even play it. I might choose to monetize my videos, but never play an ad at the beginning. I'm not going to guarantee that's going to be a thing, but for me, it's disrespectful for me to say, I use an ad blocker. I expect you not to. That's first of all hypocritical. That's hypocritical. I would prefer I will always tell people, if I'm using an ad blocker, you can use an ad blocker. It doesn't hurt my feelings.
So can you.
And the other thing that people always say, how would you feel if somebody stole, and this is, again, a subjective, wait for this. This is a subjective thing. This is a 100% subjective thing. I don't think it's right or wrong. I know why people are upset. I agree with why they are upset with what would happen what I'm about to say. But let's say that I made a video, somebody stole the video, ripped it offline, and dubbed over it in a foreign language, and did not give me any credit. It was still my video. It was still my face. Cool. I'm fine with that. I know that sounds really dumb. I know that sounds dumb. And I know that sounds really against the grain. But for me, one very important thing that I've learned and that I'm very passionate about is getting my words, my intent to people. It's not about making money. If I was interested in making money, and I tell people this, if I was interested in making money, I would have stuck being a welder. I would have stuck through welding school to become a welder, to sit on a production line, to make upwards of $30 to $35 an hour. There were kids right out of school. You go to school for a year and a half, they were making $20 to $21 an hour right out of school.
Oh my gosh!
If I was interested in making, again, it's not. But
we've also talked about like your intent behind your channel and how everything you put like 110% into your channel.
Yeah. I
So
want
it's
people to see
never
it.
actually, it's mostly about the content because things come afterwards.
Yeah. And for me, if somebody feels like my content is worthy to steal and translate and put in front of other people, my face, my message, my intent is getting to more and more people. And as an artist and as a creator, that makes me happy. That makes
I
me
feel like when it
excited.
comes, I feel like when it comes to like video stuff like that. So if like let's say someone takes a video of just a name drop Markiplier. If someone takes a video of Markiplier and they put it on their own channel and it's monetized, people know that it's not Markiplier's channel, but they know that if they wanted to watch it, they can just go to Markiplier's channel.
Yeah. And it's the
So if
same.
someone
And
sees your face on like someone in like I don't know Russia, but it's like with Russian overlay and they're like, "Oh wow, this guy is great. I want to look up more of this guy." Like, okay, but I mean, I guess if that happens, at least like I think that's why citing your sources is very important because someone can take your video and be like, "Hey, this is this guy," but like
even
it's their video.
even if they steal it and they don't give me credit for it, I don't care. I genuinely
Huh.
don't care. I am
Because the words are very important.
To me, the message is more important than me making anything. Money
Aw,
dies with you. When you
this is
die,
true.
your money dies. I mean, it might go to someone else, but you're not going to do
Yeah.
anything with it. But your message remains the same. And I haven't actually said this, on a recording yet. I haven't really touched on this too much. But I feel since you and I have been in very similar situations this year, I'm comfortable talking about this a little bit more. At my father's funeral this year, I gave a speech. I was the last speech. I'm the family's only child, only son, and so obviously are expected to give a speech. Um, and to me, and I believe this with my heart and soul. When does a person die? Is it when their body rots away and they become dust? They become nothing left on this earth? Or is it when their last memory, the last vestige of the message that they've been carrying on their entire life, has touched its final soul? At what moment does that person truly die? For me, and I'm not going to give the full speech because I can't remember it because I didn't write it down. I made it up as I went.
It goes from the heart.
Yeah, obviously. But your message is the most important thing that you can leave behind. Your children. If I'm lucky enough to have children, I hope that I raise them in such a way that they carry on, love and respect for other people. That's my message: is love, respect. I might not agree with everyone. I might have a hot temper. I might screw up a lot more than other people, but I want to pass on a message of love and respect. And that carries on longer than your body is here. So if I'm not good enough at marketing myself that my message only gets out to, a few thousand people, but somebody else grabs that exact same message, steals it from me, but my intent and my meaning are still there and it gets in front of a million people, to me, that's more important than any amount of money in my pocket. If I cared about money, I wouldn't have spent $750. I'm saying this right now because, I'm stupid. I wouldn't have spent $750 on a brand new, not a brand new, but on a camera to use for YouTube because of something that I wanted, because I feel like it'll help me tell my stories better. If I cared about making money, again, I would stick with a different job. I would have gone to college for something else instead of what I'm doing. I care about freedom and I care about the messaging. And I 100% say this with the most certainty in my heart and soul, and this is probably going to be the most controversial statement I've ever said on this channel,
Ooh,
which is saying
controversy.
something. Steal my content, steal my videos, and post them out there. If you do
Please
so,
make
please
that has to be the name of this video. Still my content.
stealing content with the mighty E. Religious, like that's what this will be. Stealing content with religiously nerdy. There we go.
Look,
That's the name of this
I
episode.
personally believe that the word is my like I've actually told people like my word is my bond. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to try my hardest to do it, but I'm also going to give you 100% answer. So if you ask me to do something and I can say no, it's not no, I don't want to do it. It's no, I don't have that capacity in which I can do that today, tomorrow, or whenever. I just can't. And which is why like so I'm really bad at speaking, especially with people, which is why I write more. And I'm also really bad at editing, which is why I stop making videos.
That's why I
Um,
do one takes. One takes
because
are
I'm
like
really bad
the
at
easiest way to do
editing.
it.
And I was like, if I can't do it one shot, I'm not gonna do it at all. So when I write, it's like this is exactly what I mean. This is exactly what I say. And, I said what I meant. I meant what I said. And so for you, it's the exact same thing, but you're face to face, so you can communicate that effectively with your voice. And as long as you understand that, that's it. Like for me, I just want my source cited. If someone ever says anything, they're like, "Who said it?" Ellie said it.
And see, that's the thing. I don't even care if my source is cited. All that I want is my message to carry on from generation to generation. I want what my dad taught me. Not the because again,
5 generations, it can be anonymous.
I don't. As long as something positive has come out of my life, then who cares? Fame is fleeting. What's the point of
Fleeting.
being famous if you're dead? What's the point of being rich if you're dead? But
Yeah.
your message is the one thing that will guarantee carry on. Do you think that we would have, and this is going to be a very far example because I can't believe I'm about to use this in a video, do you think that we would remember Hitler if his message wasn't so strong?
Oof. No.
Genuinely, do you think there was anything else that we would have remembered about him? Like, you don't really remember
No.
Mussolini that
I mean,
much.
honestly, that's the entire reason that we like, because the only reason we know about the small stuff about Hitler, this got really political. The only reason we even know about the small stuff from Hitler is because of the big stuff that he did. So we knew about his whack artwork because of his weird book because of the horrendous things that he did.
Yes, also your audio is shifted to the distance
Oh,
again.
sorry.
That's
I
okay.
probably was talking softer. And then the only reason that we know, with Hitler, all the crappy artwork he did and all the books that he wrote was because of all the horrible things that he did.
In his
So,
message of hatred, right? Your message perceives like it carries you through time and space. That's why, Rurouni Kenshin's author, his message is one of weirdness. I'm not going to say his name because one, I don't remember it, and two, I don't care to support somebody who did something so wrong. But those kinds of messages carry on through time and space. And the messages, the themes of manga, we're going back to manga and anime, we're leaving the political realm behind. But the themes of manga and anime carry on after the series has ended. You remember all of these great, amazing things that have to do with series, have to do with the journey that you've been on because of the message that has been received. And that's important. So, you know what? Steal my content, post it up somewhere else, get my message out there, and let's just have some fun. That's what life is about.
that bird app.
But
That bird app, that Twitter app.
that Twitter app, I'm literally right when I get done recording this, I'm just gonna say had a great time stealing content.
Oh no! I'm immediately gonna be, yes, love stealing at Lovely's content.
I am.
Decapitation. There you go. I decapitated out for you.
There we go. I'm typing it out right now.
Oh my god. Goes to
There we go. All right, it's being typed out. I'm gonna hit once we finish this. So we have not gotten to touch on it too much. We're getting near the very end. I want you to tell me why you started your blog.
Yay! So I started my blog because I was doing YouTube. It wasn't that YouTube was bad. And like I said, I was really awkward behind the camera and it made me feel weird, but that's not even the worst part. It was when I would edit, it was just a lot. It was probably because I had something that I had no business using. And that's fine. But I liked writing a lot more and it kind of helped me articulate what I wanted to say a lot more instead of just kind of having like a 15-minute video that was actually an hour long because I didn't know what to say. So when I started writing and people started reading it, especially like other Muslims, like if you look up Muslim nerds, there's not really a lot of Muslim nerds. I actually saw this account on Facebook about Muslim nerds, just completely dedicated to Muslim nerds, and it was basically talking about Muslim geeks. So like for me, nerds and geeks are two different things. So nerd is like pop culture. Geek is like tech stuff. I could be wrong. Everyone has their own opinion, but that's the thing for me. And for that guy, like the Muslim nerds, it was literally all tech stuff. And I was like, I'm not trying to. No, I want to talk about anime and manga. What is wrong with you? I want to know who played Last of Us 2 and who hated it. Okay, I want to know who is still playing Reddit Redemption 2. Okay, I want to know these
Redemption.
Reddit Redemption. But I wanted to find other Muslims like me, and I remember when I was doing stuff with Quirktastic, I wrote an article called "Where in the World Are the Muslim Billiards," and it got a lot of positive feedback. And so when I started talking more about it, I actually was a part of this Muslim. It was like this retreat where a bunch of Muslims got together and talked about spirituality of Star Wars, and then went to watch Star Wars. And guess who's never seen Star Wars? So I was like, okay, and watched the last Star Wars, but I was so happy because it was over 70 people who loved nerd stuff,
It
and
was
we were
people
all
that
just
you could connect with on not just a nerd level, but on a
on a
religious
faith, yeah, on
and
a
a
faith
faith
level.
level.
So it was like we would pray, and then we would go back talking about Luke Skywalker. We would pray, we would watch a movie, we would come back and talk about how Kylo Ren deserved better. Like we would talk about all this stuff. Now, granted, I probably had no idea what was going on, and I was like, "But who are these people?" It was great because you had all of this same passion that I like we would talk about with anime or manga. These people were talking about. So, like, if I wanted to sit and talk to someone like another Muslim person about video games, and I've had like I've had aunties come up to me and say stuff like, "Oh, you like this? Can you talk to my son or like my daughter and be like, hey, just tell him it's bad." And I'd be like, "It's not bad though. It's not like he's spending all day on it. And if he is spending all day on it and he's under the age of 18, then you should moderate that. That's your job."
It's
But
not my job,
my
your
job.
job.
Exactly, it's yours. But like I remember talking with these kids in the youth group, and I was like, "Oh, okay," because this kid was playing. I can't even remember. I want to say it was Temple Run. I was like, "Oh, snap! I haven't played that game in a long time." And like he looked at me like, "You play Temple Run?" And I was like, "Yes." And then he was like, "Do you play this?" And eventually, as most 10-year-old boys, "Do you play Fortnite?" "Yeah, I'm trash at it." And he was so nice, and he was like so happy that someone else understood that he was like, "You can play with me. I'll carry you through the game." And I was like, "This is sweet."
I'll carry you through the game. Did he
And
carry
I
you
was
through the
like,
game?
great. I've never had a victory all of my life. Yeah, dude, carry me. So, like, it's stuff like that. And then we ended up having another retreat about video games. And I had to write a paper about incorporating video games into psychology. And the main teacher had talked, he literally put a 5-minute video of Uncharted on, and we just watched it. Majority of the retreat was us watching playthroughs. We watched Uncharted. We watched, what was it? Bioshock. Like, it was like this weird thing that I am praying in the morning. I wake up, I have breakfast. I'm watching this 5-minute video and talking about spirituality and video games. I pray, we talk more. We eat, we pray again, and then we roast each other and try and spread over Tekken. And I was like, this is it. This is what life can be besides like, and everyone like faith-wise, of course, is going to be serious things. But the reason I started it was because it was always these little niche circles that no one talked about outside of it. I wanted to make it so like we could all like other Muslim people could like gather and like talk about it, but not just Muslims, like other religious folks. Like Beneath the Tangles is a Christian-based one where they talk about anime and spirituality as it pertains to Christianity. And I was like, these things need to happen. But for some reason, it wasn't there for the Islamic faith. So my goal was to try to bring both. Because when people think about anime and spirituality, which is crazy to me, it's no, religion doesn't exist in anime. You're just trying to force people stuff on there. Because I wanted to talk about it at a panel, and I was like, now I want to talk about it more because now it's like you talk about I. First of all, Noragami Christianity aspects in it. What else has Christianity in it? Spirited Away, even though a lot of Studio Ghibli films have really spiritual undertones, the guy never. I said the guy. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. Forgive
Miyazaki.
me. Yes, he. It was not his intention, and so it's like clearly Shintoism is a very important part, and like so it's like you can't say that religion isn't a part of anime when a lot of animes have it. Kids on the Slope was literally with Christianity, and I'm like, you can't just ignore these things. Like the mere conversation of afterlife in a lot of animes has, the it opens up the conversation of, well, religiosity, also here, other life, heaven and hell concepts.
Not just
So
that.
I
I mean,
wanted
Blue Exorcist is literally
Blue Exorcist. That's what I was thinking of.
like
I
straight
saw
up,
the character.
like straight up. It's literally about fighting demons in the Catholic Church.
I it just blew my mind because I mean obviously there's going to be other topics that people can talk about, and there are, but like we can't just ignore the things that are there because you don't agree with them. But like if your goal is like, yeah, I'm a demon slayer, okay, well, what anime are you from? Because that means are you a Blue Exorcist demon slayer, or you were like demon slayer? Because these is two different. These are two different things. But I didn't see that nerd culture representation in the Muslim community, even though there are. And like I have a dear friend who actually was a part of Hijab Heroes and like founded it, where there's just a bunch of Muslim hijabis that cosplayed superheroes and got a lot of recognition because people were like, wow, Muslims cosplay. Yes,
Oh
we
my
have wives.
gosh, this is surprising.
Yes. I mean, even what was it? What's the manga about Jesus and Buddha?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I remember what you're
Yes.
talking about.
I almost bought it. I was like, I just need it for scientific reasons.
Because it's a great buddy comedy.
It is. I was like, look at them. They're just vibing.
Saint
So,
Young Men.
yes, Saint Young Men. Oh, yes. But yeah, I mean, it's something that's there. It's something that can be a conversational piece, but also just let's talk about, faith and nerd stuff.
Faith
I
and
want
nerd
to
stuff.
know why Robert Downey Jr. would be a great Muslim, which I've seen threads about. Tony Stark, oh my gosh, not Robert Downey Jr. You were gonna let me just continue on with that,
I
weren't
mean,
you?
they're the same person. Let's be real here.
They-
Without Tony Stark, there is no Robert Downey Jr., and without Robert Downey Jr., there is no Tony Stark.
oh gosh, you were just gonna let me just
It's
say
okay.
it with confidence.
So hey, you know what? I didn't really notice it because I knew my mind immediately went to Iron Man. So we're okay.
Great.
But anyway,
Hopefully everyone else is.
we are at the end of this episode of the Manga Club.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a few things. One, we have to ask the random question of the day.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I love it.
You love it. All right. If you were a kind of writing utensil, what kind of writing utensil would you be? Would you be an ink pen? Would you be a quill? Would you be a grease marker? Would you be a carpenter's pencil? Would you be, like Naruto, a finger covered in blood, writing things out? Yeah, all right, again.
I would be a feather quill pen.
Feather quill pen. All right, I am 100% a mechanical pencil.
Just
Just actually, you know what? I'm a very overcomplicated pen. Mainly so I can take myself
oh,
apart
the
and
one that twist.
like you can take them apart, put them together. Like build different things out of them. Definitely a mechanical pen.
No.
Yeah, that's right. I'm cheating here. I'm making myself multiple things.
No.
That
At least
is
with me, you just take me off a bird, wash it, sharpen it a little bit,
put
dip it in
ink
some
in there, and then write. Yeah, there you go. That's what we call elegance.
ink.
We're smooth up in here. That is right. Welcome to Jazz Hour with Brian.
Oh my gosh.
That would be the weirdest channel ever. But
Just soft jazz.
playing in the background with just a picture of me.
Just
So anyway, tell everyone where they can find you, both Twitter, your blog, and everything will be linked in the description down below.
yay. So you can find me on Twitter at TheMightyE_. You can find me on Instagram at religiously nerdy and my blog, which is religiouslynerdy.wordpress.com, which is also on my Twitter page.
And y'all know where to find me because we're here right now. LEE, religiously nerdy, all the amazing words that I can call you. Thank you so much for coming on. It's a joy to see your face yet again as a member of the Manga Club.
I love being invited. It's always a pleasure.
And it's always a pleasure having you. So everyone, don't forget to look out for more articles by Ellie. Don't forget to look out for more videos by me. And again, steal my content and get the message out to more people. Please, I beg you. And turn on the ad blockers because I do it all the time.
Put the ad blocker on right now. What are you doing? Put it on.
Go back to the beginning of the video. Turn the ad blocker on so I can... So you just do it. Just do it. Do it. For everyone, new and old, welcome and welcome back. It's your boy Lohali, and I will see you next video.